Well, good morning. Welcome to Daily Focus and Rooted and Relevant. And I trust that your day is as beautiful as ours is here. And wherever you are, thank you for joining me. We are learning lessons from the life of Jonah. And so we introduced the fact that God had called him for a very specific purpose. And what the people of Nineveh needed more than anything else was to hear about Jesus. They needed the gospel. And the thing that people need more than anything else today is the gospel. They need Jesus. He's the only one who can change their eternity. He's the only one who can forgive their sin. He's the only one who can give them a righteous standing before God. And so we have to make sure that we embrace God's call upon our lives and what he has commanded us to do. When we get to verse number 4, the Bible says, "But the Lord sent out a great wind." So Jonah is running from the Lord. He has bought a ticket to Tarshish, and he is in Joppa, and he gets on a boat, and he is hightailing it the other way. But the Lord sent a great wind into the sea, and there was a mighty tempest in the sea, so that the ship was like to be broken. Then the mariners were afraid, and cried every man unto his God, and cried forth cast forth the wares that were in the ship into the sea to lighten it. But Jonah was gone down into the sides of the ship, and he lay and was fast asleep. So that the shipmaster came to him and said unto him, What meanest thou, O sleeper? Arise, call upon thy God, if so be that God will think upon us, that we perish not. And they said, every one to his fellow, Come, let us cast lots, that we may know for whose cause this evil is upon us. So they did cast lots, and the lot fell upon Jonah. I don't really understand all of the specifics of how God used the casting of lots. There's no doubt in the Old Testament that this was something that God used to steer people's attention, to steer people, whether it was because they were trying to find out something, and this was maybe their superstitious way to cast blame, or like in the case where they were casting lots for Jesus's clothes, and so they cast lots to see who was going to be the winner. However that process worked, God obviously intervened and used it to put the finger on Jonah. And so I don't want to go any further into the story. It's easy to do when we all know the story, to just jump ahead and to miss some of these finer points that I want to bring out. Jonah was asleep while the people around him were in danger. And I fear that Christians maybe are guilty of the same thing. We're asleep while those around us are in danger. Uh, we have no guarantee of our next breath. We have no guarantee of tomorrow, and neither does anyone else around us. Have you ever wondered how many lost people do you walk past, drive past, see on a daily basis? The Bible says that most people are lost. Broad is the way that leads to destruction, and many there be that enter therein. And so there is a narrow way that leads to life everlasting, and few there be that find it. We know that God is saying that in the world, most of the people that we walk past, most of the people that we see are lost. And my question is, are we asleep while they are in danger? God has given to us really one responsibility. It's the reason he leaves us on planet Earth after we get saved. And that is that our lives would reflect Jesus Christ, that we would reflect his love, we would reflect his grace, we would reflect his righteousness, we would reflect that which accurately pictures Christ, so that as we introduce him to these people, they do not get contrasting pictures. And yet, Jonah here was a great opportunity for him to declare to these mariners God had called him, and he was going to fulfill the call of God. He was going to obey the command of God, but no, he's hiding. And it's interesting that he was able to go to sleep. I don't know if you're running from God, can you sleep? If I'm disobeying God, can I sleep? I think this has a lot to do with showing us the calloused nature of Jonah. It's going to come out over and over again as we go through this book. But Jonah is definitely a bitter, bitter man. And so when God says you need to go tell these people about Jesus so that he can forgive them, Jonah's like, I'm not telling them. I don't want them forgiven. I want them to pay for the things that they have done. And Jonah was forgetting all that he had been forgiven of. He was choosing to forget the grace of God in his life, and that God was gracious to him, and he didn't want to extend that grace. I fear that there is a lot of angry Christians today that are mad at this, they're mad at that, they're frustrated over this, they're frustrated over that. And because of that, we just, with callousness, go to sleep spiritually. We go to sleep regarding why it is that God's left us on this planet. And so my challenge to each of us is, let's look around and realize that the people we see, many of them are in danger. And what they need is to hear about Jesus. They need somebody to be a good steward of the gospel. May God give us an opportunity to tell somebody about Jesus today. God bless you. I'll look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.